So welcome everyone. I'm gonna let our host and our co-host start the meeting for you guys.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is BJ Pacheco. I'm the academic program leader over at Voorhees Elementary. So glad to see half of your face, or some of you. We hope to see all of you today. We're very excited and very nervous. We've been working on this for quite some time, and we hope that we do a good job and give you a good training today.
Welcome, and I'm Teresa Ipari-Gary, and I'm the academic program leader at Harding Elementary, and I'm super excited to share with you and hear how we can support you further in this new adventure we have with virtual learning.
Okay, all right, Claudia, you want to give us host and co-host so that we can share our screens here and then get this party started?
Yeah, I think I already did, BJ. I give you guys host, your host, BJ.
Okay.
Are you?
All right, well,
You should
okay.
be. Yes.
Let's see.
Never mind, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Let's see, all right. Let me pull up the 5th grade. Oops. And sorry, and all right. Okay, welcome. Again, my name is BJ Pacheco. I am the academic program leader at Voorhees Elementary. And we're gonna start off our morning with a little message from Mark Lukey. So you're gonna need to adjust your volume. So I would say maybe minimize your windows so that you can adjust your volume. I'm going to, let me make sure, actually, you know, make sure that I had shared my, oops, okay. Just need to make sure I share the volume with you. Okay, so here we go. If it's too loud, Teresa, Claudia, let me know, and I'm gonna get started with the video.
Good morning and welcome to Summer Virtual Institute. I appreciate and thank all of you for joining us this week and willing to learn with us as we lean into a new year of learning with our students. This is not the instructional program that we had hoped to accomplish this year in terms of our students starting the year in a virtual format. But I believe that together we will build a strong instructional program to support the students of our district. So I want to speak a little bit about the importance of this week's learning with respect to our instructional program and emphasize a couple of key points for us before we start today. First and foremost, I'd like to emphasize the importance of understanding what the state is requiring of school districts this year, and that there are a set number of instructional minutes that we must adhere to. It is our goal that through the virtual nature of our instructional program over the first quarter, that we can rise above and beyond those minimum minutes, ensuring that our students receive ample in-person to the best of our ability instruction, meaning synchronous learning, where we are zooming in with our students online, supporting them, teaching them, equipping them with the skills to be successful in this virtual format. And then we are also balancing that with what we call asynchronous time, where we are assigning kids to complete assignments through many of our instructional tools and resources, while we as teachers and educators work in small groups with students who simply need more time with intervention. And so you are going to receive a lot of information from our instructional services support team. You are going to receive a lot of tools and resources to support you with the instructional design of our program for this year. Just know that we're in this together. Let's support each other. Let's be there for each other, and let's work together to make the very best and strongest instructional program for our students. So once again, thank you very much. I look forward to learning with you this week, and I look forward to a successful school year. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so we introduced ourselves and we heard a little bit from Mark. Again, today, I know this isn't the usual PD format that we normally do for BCSD. In fact, I really was thinking this morning I'm gonna miss actually seeing all your faces, but I'm glad to be here. And so we wanna get to know you a little bit. So we are gonna use one piece of technology right now. It's called the Jamboard. Some of you may know how to use it. But we're going to take a look at how to use Jamboard, and we're going to get to know each other. So in a few minutes, we're going to do some breakout rooms. We're going to set you up, and you'll introduce yourself to your partner. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Jamboard here. Oh, by the way, if there is the BCSD link for this presentation. You may need for later on as we do some of the activities, and you can save it for later or write it down so that you have it for future use. So let's take a look at the Jamboard. So here is an easy way to create a Jamboard. We just use this as a template. It's a whiteboard, so you can actually over here on the side select a pen and write your name. And I'm going to do the best I can. All right. And then we can go ahead and erase that with this here. We also have little sticky notes that you can do right here. So what you're going to do is, Mike's already got on there. Great. All right. Awesome. But over here is a sticky note. You just type in your name here. Hello. We'll have you guys doing this in just a moment here. So if you want to just hold off just for a minute, we're going to have you do that into the breakout rooms. But hello, my name is BJ. All right. And we're going to save that. Once you do that, then you can go over here and drag it, move it around. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. There's a few options here. You can edit, you can duplicate it, you can delete it. You can add a picture to it. So you can go in here. If you have any images or upload an image to the font, you can drag in your emoji here. But what we're going to do is have you go into breakout rooms. And for each breakout room, you're going to have a card. So if you're in breakout room 1, you're going to be on card 1. If you're in breakout room number 2, you're going to be on card 2. If you're going to be in breakout room 3, then you'll be on card 3. So in the chat room, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you have an idea of if everything's going well. And someone give me an idea what the chat. I can't see the chat. So Claudia, are we good with the? All right. Any questions as to what we're going to do? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you go ahead and click on Jamboard. We're going to put you in a breakout room, and then we are going to have you introduce yourselves to your partners. All right, so we're going to do that right now.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Are you guys able to access the Jamboard?
I don't see it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let me see. I'm going to share it with you guys. I can share the link to the Jamboard in just a second.
Okay.
So my name is Claudia Maldonado, and I am a math instructional specialist for the district. I've been in the district, this is my 13th year, but in curriculum and instruction, this is, oh wow, my 4th year. Whew. Time for me to go back to the classroom. One cool thing that I like to do that I did this summer is that I actually went and started teaching. I did virtual distance learning teaching for 7th and 8th graders for math. And so a lot of this that we're doing helped me a lot to understand this type of environment that our kids are going to be in. So I was super excited. That's what made me happy, that I was able to teach kids this summer. All right, I shared the Jamboard right there if you guys want to click on it, and then it takes you to that link, and then you guys can put on your Post-it, but I would like to know who you are.
Are we on the 8? Was that it? The jam number 8, the slide?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, because that's the group that we're in. Yes.
Okay. Did you want us to introduce ourselves on the
Yes,
second one?
please
Okay.
do. I want to get to know you guys. I know some of you, but some of you new faces, and some of them no faces. Just kidding.
Emma?
Bema. Okay,
Shy.
so
I'll go.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like, that was my question. Do you want us to just post it? Do you want us to?
I'm
Normally-
Nicole. I'm Nicole Kinzer, and I teach 5th grade at McKinley Elementary. My computers are weird because my husband just set up an extra monitor for me. So when I go distance
that.
learning, I have two. So I'm like, what do I look at? But this summer, I chose not to do summer school, trying to keep my husband safe. But I got a lot of sewing done, so it's very soothing for me. So I got lots of sewing done.
My name is Monica. I'm also 5th grade at Pioneer. This is going to be my 6th year already in 5th grade, and I love it. But all of this summer has been stepping out of my comfort zone, learning new things with technology, content, and kind of just haven't had a break really. And I enjoy just reading best practices and learning from all this. Like this, had the opportunity with the pandemic that all these educators were just so giving, not only with resources but also with a lot of PDs. And it's just, I think this is one of the summers that I feel like I'm stepping up and just learning so much. And I'm very excited, a little bit nervous about online, but definitely excited.
I'm Bama Angeles. I work with Monica, Pioneer Drive 5th grade. And yeah, this summer is challenging, but at the same time, it's a good learning experience. It's something new, which, it's something also that we can look forward to, is our in the 21st century, and it will be more techie in the long run. And I believe that it will open doors for different type of teaching as well, and it will evolve the education process. So yeah, that's it.
thank you everyone for sharing. Now, do you guys had access to the Jamboard? I put it on that chat.
Yeah, I think we got it. Although, you know what? I think I put mine on the wrong one. Here, I'll fix it.
And what we notice is like if we did this with students. I did it in the class of 25 students and everybody was able to access, but we noticed like if we have 40 and more, what it says, and I know they're texting me, that there's too many people viewing at this time, so you can try later. I'm sorry. But we didn't know with the PDF 50, we're not gonna be able to, but with students you can, because I did it in my classroom with 30 students and it was perfectly fine. They were able to access and do everything. So we'll mention that. We'll let them know.
Is this for the Jamboard, Claudia, you mean?
Yeah, for the Jamboard. The Jamboard limits the number of people. We found that out in the earlier session, but as people are exiting, then you can go in and complete the activity. But yes. Okay. So if we're ready, we can go back to the main room. Okay. I think he gave us enough time already. So I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Okay, so everyone, we should be coming out of the breakout rooms here. As you come back, we will hopefully everyone had a chance to look at the Jamboards. I know there was a little bit, if you joined us a little bit late, that it was a little difficult, but hopefully you were able to use it to get in there. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. I believe everybody's out of the breakout rooms.
Yes.
So we're gonna get going. Hopefully you had you're able to get into the Jamboard and make a little sticky note here. Just going through, I can see that there's several people. Some people practice the pin writing. Great job. Looks good. This is one way to interact with our students. So, and we'll be using this in our model presentation. So we'll have another chance to work on it again. So there are a lot of us, and I know that there wasn't a chance for some people to get in there and use it, but hopefully you'll get another chance later on today.
So BJ, sorry. Jamboard, it is limited to 30 people. So that is the reason why some of you guys cannot access, but as people exit out, you still can go back and then add your little activity. So it is maximum to 30 because it is set up for a classroom. I use it in the summer with kids. And I had 30 students and it worked perfectly fine. So don't worry about your kids. Your kids will have access. For us, we have 50 something people, so I am so sorry. But we wanted to give you some tools.
Yeah. And at this moment too, Claudia, do we have attendance? Because we're going to close the entry into the into the session.
Yeah.
Claudia, do you remember where that was at?
No, I got it, BJ. Don't worry. You keep going.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to keep moving on. All right, so today's agenda, we're going to be looking at an introduction. So we're going to go over our norms, the core priorities again, and reorienting ourselves with the core priorities, our learning intentions for the day, and our success criteria. We'll be taking a look at some math behaviors, how to empower students to think and reason mathematically. We want to bring that from last summer into this summer and into this year's learning. And then look at key essential standards. So we know that our students didn't have a full year last year. So we've taken some of what they didn't learn and put it into this year. So you're going to take a look at those key essential standards. We're going to take a look at lesson design, where we actually will model a lesson for you later today. And then we're going to explore the EdTech Center, where you're going to find all of the information you need for teaching online. And then at the end of the day, we'll have an exit ticket about 10 minutes before we leave for the next session. All right, so some norms. So we're going to ask everyone to be on mute while we're presenting. And then when we ask for participation, we'll have you unmute. We're going to use the chat. Please make sure that you use the chat responsibly. And that if you have any questions, myself or Teresa or Claudia will try to give you an answer. If not, there's a district parking lot that we'll introduce you to in a little bit right now. We ask that you be patient. I know that you ask your kids to be patient as well, because this is all new to us. And you know how wonderful technology is all the time, right? It's always there, it's always secure, it never fails us, right? So we ask that you're patient if we're glitching, or if the music doesn't, or the sound doesn't come on, or the like we just had with the Jamboard, when there's limitations that we just find out right as we're doing it. So we ask you to be patient, and we ask you to be positive. Some BCSD norms that they added, we want to take today to celebrate our individual, team, and collective success. This is going to be a very different year for us. And so we want to focus on the things that really help us keep moving forward. So let's celebrate our individual, team, and collective success. We want you to be engaged, focused, kind, respectful, and collaborative in supporting the vision of our collective work here. Be willing to challenge the thinking of the group to identify a better solution. So we ask you to ask questions, and we will do our best to answer them. There are some questions we will not be able to answer today, but we'll do our best to give you what we know. We encourage you to validate and support each other through the learning and implementation process while being open-minded to new and innovative ideas. There are a lot of new things and things we haven't done before. So we ask you to keep an open mind and just make an attempt. We'll get better at it. And then be open and honest in your feedback while not taking the feedback and communication personally in order to ensure a safe environment for innovation, vulnerability, and strategic risk-taking. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Teresa.
Thank you, BJ. So just a couple housekeeping items. So we have, as BJ mentioned, the parking lot. So you can go ahead and at any time, when you think of a question, click on the image and it will take you to the parking lot. You can jot down any questions that you may have in relation to the instruction, to things that come up in regards to the presentation. We could, like we said, if we don't know the answer, we will forward it on to who could help with that piece. In regards to the sign out procedures, they're a little different this year. So one of those things is 10 minutes before the session is over, we're going to provide the link for the evaluation. So we ask you to complete that. And the second part of that is the sign out process. So we are also going to, after the eval link, we'll post the sign out link. And that sign out link is very important because it's going to accredit your time with us, but also be used for payroll purposes. So it's important that you sign out of the session today. And those are the two new pieces. Yes, we can put the parking lot link in there, Nicole. Okay.
I got it.
Okay, Thank you. And then can we go to the next screen? Thank you. And just as we get ready to start our lesson, we also want to look at our core priorities, the 4 areas, and how look at it through our scope here. That our core priorities are what makes up our focus here at BCSD, strengthening our culture. And this is kind of where we're at. We're all in this together. We're all in this for our students and for all students. We want to provide a culture of teaching and learning. And there is a lot I know that we feel that we are overwhelmed with, but together we can accomplish many things. So not only for our students, but for us, the culture of teaching and learning. Okay. Can we go on to the next screen? I'm sorry, I don't have the.
Let me share remote access with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And for our learning intentions today and our purpose, we're here to support you and provide you a model in implementing what you can apply as either a hybrid model or fully virtually as we begin this first quarter virtually. We want you to understand the lesson design. We're going to explain how we came up with our lesson design, what the key components are, and the purposes are for providing that balanced approach that we want our students to receive in their instruction and to meet their needs. And we know we're going to be successful today when we're able to navigate some of those components. We're going to be able to deliver that mathematical instruction that's rich through our lesson design and promote that learning, belief, and behaviors where we want our students to be confident, regardless of their environment or setting that they're learning. Okay.
You should have remote control.
Let's see here. We're all learning this, guys. Sorry about that. Oops, I advanced too quickly. So as we're talking about how we can help our students and elicit some of those math behaviors that's going to support them in their learning, we're going to take a look at the math behaviors. And these are the mathematical practices. These are something that was introduced last year, and it's something to keep in mind as we prepare our lessons. We look at the questioning that we're going to ask throughout our lessons, and also for students to reflect upon of how they behave as a mathematician. So what we're going to do is reorient ourselves a little bit through the mathematical practices. And what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to click on the image of the student math behaviors, and it's going to open it up to a separate file. And I'd like for you to take a look at those and reflect on what have you not only look at the behaviors, but also ask yourself, what have you used to draw out those math behaviors from your students? In the classroom, when it's a face-to-face interaction, or with our experience from March, what are some ways that we elicit these math behaviors for our students? So we're going to give you about 3 minutes or so, or about 1.5 minutes to look at those math behaviors.
So you'll probably want to minimize your Zoom screen and then go into your regular either Google search or whatever your internet browser is, and pull up the presentation for the day. If you didn't get it, it's go.bcsd.com/DSU. There you will be able to open up the link and look at the math behaviors.
Thank you, BJ, for the reminder of that.
Yeah, and we put the link in the chat as well.
Right.
Okay, I think we've given you about 1 minute to kind of just look, read, get refamiliarized with things, start thinking about that reflection piece of based on those guiding questions. And that takes us to our next activity, which, excuse me, I went too far. We're going to go ahead and use these questions to engage with the Padlet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and go down here and click on that link. And it takes you to the Padlet. And this is something that you can also utilize in your classroom. We're going to go ahead and to start a Padlet, you're going to go ahead and click at the plus sign. And then you're going to go ahead and type in what your reflection is. Maybe I ask open-ended questions. Maybe that's one way I try to elicit some of those math behaviors for my students. Okay, once I'm done clicking on my or typing in my answer, then I will click on the outside of that text box. And so why don't you go ahead and practice that and also give us your thoughts. This also could be something maybe that you're looking forward to utilizing. Is there something recent that you've seen, read an article, or known other people to use that you want to maybe explore in using this year? And we're coming away with some great ways that you guys use that. And also just, you can also use the Padlet and move around your the typing. So it doesn't have to all be linear. It could be anywhere on the screen that you can create that response or whatnot. Fabulous. The EdTech Center, that's going to be an exciting component. Manipulatives are huge, especially with the CRA model. That hands-on piece, the concrete all the way through. The drawing, beautiful. These are great ideas. And just so you know, if you don't get a chance to read all of these answers, these answers will be available to you, or this presentation as is will be available to you to go back and read our colleagues' answers or ideas throughout this presentation. Fabulous. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I see we're still adding. These are great. Real world problems, great. We have to be able to apply it to real life. Absolutely, they need to see that importance. Beautiful. Norms, absolutely. We need to be able to know what the expectations are in our mathematical discourse during our class. What is expected of them, what we can expect, but what they can also expect of us. Failing forward, for sure. That's for everyone, us and the students. Math can be very overwhelming, but it could be fun and engaging. Great. All right. Claudia, BJ, do you have any other ideas that you see out there?
No, I think you got them all.
Yeah, fabulous. All right. So again, the Padlet is a wonderful way to engage. I know that I didn't show you, but there's a place there where you can add videos, files, all kinds of sorts of things from your Google Drive to also implement in the Padlet. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go back to how can we elicit, or what are some questions? I'm sorry. How can we elicit the evidence of student thinking? And this is looking at this chart here. What are teachers doing? and what are students doing? And this comes from a book that was introduced last summer, also the Principles to Actions. So as teachers, let's take a look at some of the things that we could do. We can identify what counts as evidence. So the manipulative use can be counting as evidence as we are understanding what our students are learning and interpreting from us. Gathering the evidence. Is it the use of the manipulatives, the drawings, the actual algorithm? And making those in the moment decisions on how to respond. So if we're getting that feedback during our lesson and we're seeing that there is some confusion, it's okay to go ahead and stop. As we all know, go back and provide that clarification or give another example that will help extend the learning or clear up any misunderstandings. And then as far as students go, we could see here, revealing through reasoning, understanding in written work and their discourse, using that opportunity to go back and forth in conversation, whether it's small group and in whole class. Reflecting, which is huge. They need to take a moment like we all do and say, what worked, what didn't work, what am I understanding, what am I not? And asking questions and teaching them how to ask those questions. And then also assessing and monitoring their own progress. So as we go through this, we want to also, this is an important component for the engagement piece as we continue with our teaching and learning, okay? BJ?
Okay, all right, let me see if I still, okay, good, I have control back. Okay, all right, so what we see here is the key essential standards. What we did as the district is we took the unit planners and gave you the standards that you'll be using throughout the year. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna take you through, we're gonna look at 5th grade, but we did provide the other grade levels for you. So if you wanna look what happened in 4th grade, the link is there as well as what they're gonna be doing next year in 6th grade. So we're gonna take a look at 5th grade and these are the essential standards. So what will come up first is the English language arts. So over to the side, to the left here, you'll see that there are some headers here. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump down to math. So we'll click on that and then it'll take us directly to the math standards. Here you'll see that we have the California frameworks and then here are the units from last year for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarters. You'll see that this is done by the month. So we have here August, and then August is going to start off with just some a couple of days of work on some of the standards that they didn't have in 4th grade that will lead into some of the standards here in 5th grade. So what you're going to see first in the first week is just some lessons on MD 4th grade measurement. Number 2, which is solving problems involving money. So they're going to use simple skills like using fractions and decimals, number lines, and place value, which will hopefully lead right into MBT 1, 2, 3, and a little bit of 4. So you'll see that for September, there are 4 weeks that we have here listed and 4 standards. So I'm going to give you some time right now to explore the standards. We did have a Jamboard that we were going to do, but now that I know that there's only 30 students or 30 participants that are allowed on the Jamboard, I think we're going to, Teresa, were we able to create a Padlet real quick and then maybe link that to the presentation so that we can do
you know what? I was not, but what if,
so as you guys
we have one slide that says, what do you notice? And another slide that says, what do you wonder about the standards? So,
okay.
So BJ, if they go into the what do you notice, what do you wonder, type what they notice, what they wonder, and then get out of it, then that gives more people access. So as they type, they can just close it down.
Okay, sounds good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you into a breakout room for about 10 minutes. During that time, just talk to each other, and then when you're ready to enter into the Jamboard, enter in and then type two things. We want you to type in, what do you notice, and then what do you wonder. So I'm going to put you in break rooms to have a conversation about the 5th grade essential standards. So you'll need to have 2 screens open. You'll need to have your Zoom screen and then the presentation as well. And then after you have your discussion, go ahead and go into the Jamboard and write those 2 things. What do you notice and what do you wonder? So I'm going to start the break rooms in a few seconds here. So we're going to give you about 10 minutes to, oh, Claudia, let's see. Oops, here we go. All right, so we're going to give you 10 minutes to work on those. And
BJ, if they happen to finish early, they could take a slight break, a stretch break during this time for the 10 minutes.
Sounds great. So, and while you're doing that, if you finish early, you can go ahead and take a break. So.
Claudia, where's the math? The math ones?
The essential standards. So when you open up the document, you will see on your left hand, you will see 5th grade, and then underneath mathematics is the little, what is it called, tag, or the little, subtitle. So click on math. If you don't have that, it's on page 19.
Oh, it's scroll all the way in the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, and now with Google Docs, subtitles come up, which is pretty cool, and you can just click on the subtitle, but I don't know if it shows on yours.
Oh, the bookmark, you mean?
Yeah, so you'll see a bookmark that says mathematics. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's something really cool now that I really like, because the units have that. Okay.
So you said on slide 19?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And if you guys want me to, I can type on the notice and wonder, like what do we notice as a team? Because we're group 8, or what do we wonder?
Let's see.
I noticed we need to teach 4th grade standard for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is 4MD. So I'm actually on the phone with the 4th grade teacher asking, how do you teach this standard?
I also noticed that NBTs go in order.
I'm sorry, what?
The NBTs are in order.
Okay.
There's spacing, like a pacing guide.
Okay, so you notice like a pacing guide. Okay, good. I know I'm typing very short sentences.
Place value too, which we know is 4th grade, but also we need to hit it hard for 5th grade as well.
Okay. Yep. Good.
Conversion is included again. It's for MD1, but I noticed that it's on October 4 weeks, the October one for MD1, while the MD2 is on the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder why.
Yes, and we wonder why. Okay, and I'm typing that on the Y, on the other one.
I'm also noticing that we are ending the first quarter at NBT 4. So which is different from last year, because last year I think we covered all the way from NBT 6, 7.
So this time you notice, I'm sorry, that you're teaching the MBT all the way to where?
NBT 4.
What
Instead of
month?
October, unless we are switching over to
September. NBT 4 still. I have a question. Are we on a trimester? Because if it's going to be, it says October 9 is going to be the end of first grading period.
Mm-hmm.
So are we really on a trimester, or it's still a quarter?
You know what, I don't want to give you the wrong answer to that, but they haven't changed the way we did it last year. So last year we were in quarters. So it's still the same as last year.
Okay.
Any other notices that you guys have, or any other wonders?
I wonder how you're going to teach it online. Like, do we teach a certain standard for how long and how many days, something like that. So.
All right. Mm-hmm.
So how do we break it apart with, because there's going to be different challenges with them learning virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were in our classroom physically, we kind of have a control of the way that they learn. Oh, this guy's not learning, this guy's not getting it. Okay, pull them right away. So something like that. But now where they are in different places, so I'm thinking, how many per week can they take? I'm wondering how do we move from one standard to the next one? Something like that.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Oh.
I'm also wondering, where is the end of the first unit? So I know it's a quarter, the grading period, but as far as the first unit, when does it end, and how do we assess? And what do we assess for the end of the first unit? I don't see it here, so kind of wondering.
The units and quarters usually don't correlate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know it was very confusing last year.
Right.
I know.
And I noticed that on each one it says emphasize language with the use of sentence starters.
Mm-hmm.
Integrating ELD.
And you know what, Claudia, that was one of the questions that I had for, when they brought up the schedule for the online learning, they have like 45 minutes for ELD and ISB, which my question was like, how do we separate? Is it like a small group where we do asynchronous learning, or is it all implemented within like the math lessons using like sentence starters, reading,
Integrated or designated?
Oh, okay. So those are really, those are really good questions that I would definitely ask on that BCSD parking lot, because we don't have the answer to that, but they should be looking at that and give you guys an answer. So we can share the parking lot again, and please type them as we go, because that's what teachers did. As things were coming up, they were typing those questions. So yeah, really good questions. that I will share the parking lot again in our chat. So you guys can type them as you guys go. Yes.
Second, Monica.
Yeah, those are good. You guys are good. Yeah. Yeah, I type our responses on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in a few minutes and share it with you guys. There it is, parking lot questions link. So
Are you typing it, Monica?
Yes. I don't know. This is just one, I think, yeah.
Just a quick question. If you have a breakout room, the one that can control it is the host, right?
yes, correct. And he just gave us 26 seconds to go back to the main room. So you can control time and anything. Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Okay.
I'll see you guys over there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think everyone should be back with us now. Looks like everyone is just about back. All right. Okay, perfect. All right. So we're gonna, hopefully you had a chance to take a little bit of a rest break while you're in there. Right now, I'm just gonna ask you if anyone wants to share. So how we're gonna share is down on the bottom of the screen, you should have a reactions button, and it should raise a hand if you would like to share. So we can either raise our hand or, and I will call on someone and you'll just unmute yourself and then share with us. So would anyone like to share anything that they saw in the key essential standards that they noticed or wonder? I'm gonna scroll through here, see if anyone's raised their hand. Of course, right?
One brave volunteer, please.
Any brave volunteers here? See if I can find you in the, oh, okay, I got a few. Okay, I got a few here. Let me just scroll down a little bit here. Oh, I thought I saw some hands. Oh, there we go. Okay, Dawn, will you go ahead and unmute yourself, and then will you share with us what you either noticed or wondered? And thank you so much.
Hi, guys. So I like it that we're going to start introducing the fourth grade section, and it seems that it's going to blend very nicely to the first portion of what we're going to be teaching usually in fifth grade. My concern is because now we're obviously virtual learning, whether the weeks allocated are going to be enough for the items that we're going to be teaching. So that's all up in the air. And hopefully the weeks that you guys allocated will be enough for us teachers and for our students to understand concepts. So that's my only concern. But I like it that we integrated the fourth, and then we're going to, for the first 2 weeks, it's like an icebreaker as well, and then start teaching material like a few weeks later in the year. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, there are definitely concerns about how things will flow at the beginning of the year. So, but continue to work with your teams and keep moving forward and building those relationships with children. I think that will help. Tara, I have one more. Tara, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and then sharing with us what your thoughts are.
So mine was under the wonder section, and I noticed that on the essential standards you had listed the iMath that was supposed to be for the first 3 days. Where do we find the resources for the iMath?
I believe they're going to be on the EdTech Center. Claudia, do you have more information on that?
Yes, BJ. We put iMath because we were looking into putting the iMath for the virtual. We haven't finished that yet, but if we do, it's going to be in the EdTech Center, because one of the things they're letting us know is, you know, they want you guys for the first 3 days to work with your kids on using this Zoom, also going through the different strategies that we're sharing with you guys. And if we put the iMath right away, some people still need the SEL moment with their kids one-on-one, getting them used to for 3 days, just even getting used to logging in, talking to them. So we haven't put it yet because they told us to hold on to it, but if they let us know that yes, go ahead and you guys will have it on the EdTech Center, but thank you.
Okay.
We have two
right.
more volunteers, BJ,
Oh,
before
okay.
we move on, if you don't mind. So we have, is it Michael? You want to share what your notice or wonder was?
Well, me coming back from another grade level, my first year back in 5th in a long time, I noticed that one, I noticed that the 4th grade standards maybe that they hadn't covered were being intertwined into the curriculum throughout the year to use kind of as a springboard. And then I noticed also that the yellow highlighting was a big key for me, because then I could look at what exactly we are covering on that standard and then how it builds through the rest of the year.
Perfect. Thank you for that, your insight on that. And then we have one more. Is it Maureen Lee?
It's Mariah.
Mariah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
So one thing that my group and I noticed was the pacing on the side. So we definitely felt that would be great when planning and mapping, backwards mapping as a group and as a PLC. And one thing that we wondered was having access to manipulatives for ourselves as well as students, like tangible manipulatives. And if the essential standards are going to align more with the unit.
Well, Claudia, do you want to speak real quick about the unit? I believe a lot of those standards are within those units that we previously used, right? Am I correct?
Yes, correct. So if you look at the year at a glance before, you will notice that the standards didn't change for the unit. They're all aligned. The only difference now that they're broken down by the months. And so when you ended unit 1, in that last standard, and I believe it's MBT 7, you will still end MBT 7 around the time the unit 1 should end. So they align, we just put months in there.
Okay, well, great. And this is a great tool to go ahead and incorporate and keep close to you in your shared drive or print out, and for the pacing and the backward mapping. So that's a great point there.
Hold on, Teresa, we have one more comment from Teresa Rambula. So you want to go ahead, Ms. Rambula, go ahead and unmute yourself and give us your comment.
Well, thank you. I noticed a lot of the standards are attached, and I am very thankful for that. All the documents are in the one central standard, so I'm very thankful for that. For my teachers and whoever put this together, thank you very much. One of the things that I wonder, and I'm really, knowing my students and that I worry about, is just the fact that we begin in August and we go straight into maybe fractions, money, but I know that my kids are going to need a lot of place value. I wonder a lot more of the prerequisite skills that are going to be needed in August and September. I can't go into September expecting my kids to multiply all the way to thousands without ensuring that they know for sure place value. So it just for me and for my teachers and to serve my kids well, I want to make sure that we review place value for sure to make sure that they have that. And of course, give teachers the access to all the manipulatives that they might need.
Yes, that's definitely going to be something that every teacher will have to look at as they're interacting with their kids. There's going to be some huge gaps that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully today when we do our model lesson, you're going to see that we're going to go into small groups with the asynchronous. So there are going to be a lot of gaps this year, and hopefully that you'll use the time to put kids in breakout rooms and give them assignments to use while you're meeting small group with them. So we're going to try to model that today in the model lesson. So just look out for that. I know that with all the teachers, they're going to be experts at it, you know, as they go throughout the year. So it'll just get better and better. But yes, there's going to be a lot of gaps, and it'll take a lot of good relationships with students to know what they need and to give it when they need it. So yeah, thank you. That's a really great comment. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, Teresa, you wanna, I think do I have control or you have control?
You do.
Okay.
You do. There you go. So we're getting ready to do that model lesson, but as we're kind of just taking it in, just like Miss Arambula said, that we want to stand in somebody else's shoes. We want to see through their eyes, and peace begins. So we want to have empathy towards our, as we begin our new year. So here are two quotes that we found inspirational from Barack Obama and Mother Teresa. Just some thoughts there. We're going to go on because I want to continue with our next piece, which is the beginning of looking at what our lessons will look like. So just as we took the key essential standards and we identified those core major key learnings for 5th grade, we then examined that based off of the target and the standards. And we went ahead and, to your right, created daily lessons. And so these are the components that you're going to find in each of the lessons that our team had developed. You're going to see access to presentations, the information on the target and the standards. We've created learning intentions and success criteria, but by all means, you want to take in consideration what your students' own learning intentions are and what you would consider success criteria. So by all means, if there's something there that you need to change it. The skills, so this is based off of the standards. The vocabulary, what is the vocabulary that we want to have the students utilize in their discourse? What vocabulary do we want to model as we're utilizing the math or practicing the math, doing the math? Sentence frames to provide that language piece, and the item specs. Looking at what are the expectations for 5th grade in regards to the standard and to the skill. And then the lesson itself is broken up into 3 parts: an introduction piece, a lesson, the actual core lesson, and a closing. And then we've also provided to you the resources. So maybe there are additional resources, maybe there are pieces for the students, for the teachers. So we've kind of, it's a one-stop shop of, for this lesson, what you will need. So to the left, you're going to see just a screenshot of the model lesson that we're going to do today. And thank you for letting us know that the link did not work, but is now working. So this is how you're going to see the lessons laid out for you. Okay, and then going on to the next slide, looking at those core components that I just went over, this is just providing some clarification of what are these. It's kind of like it's our own little glossary of terms for the daily lessons, okay? And you can come back to that. And so here we are. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn the floor over to BJ, and he's gonna provide us our lesson model today.
Okay, so I'm going to take you through a lesson today. Again, I ask for your patience and your kindness as I go through this. We're going to try to model some technology activities. Again, I just want to emphasize, this is just like off the floor. Take apart this lesson, add what you know works best, and just add your components as you need them, take away, put more on, do less, do more, whatever you feel comfortable with. This is just our attempt to give you like a floor. So all of these things are negotiable, and we want you to put your own creativeness in here. I mean, I know that some of you have been working on some emoji boards slides. This is very generic. So again, this is just our very basic floor activity. So we will be interacting with this. So there are some things that you will need to know. On the bottom, if you go on the bottom, you should see a little thing called annotate. And then you will be able to annotate on there. So we'll be using the chat and the participant screen as well so that I can see your hand being raised and ask volunteers to interact with me. Okay, so with that, I'm going to, and I'll be going in and out of presentation mode and the kind of slide mode that you see right here. So let me go ahead and start the show here. All right, so welcome to 5th grade. This is Wednesday, July 22nd. Just want to go over some classroom norms with you. Thank you for being on time today and being prepared to learn. We'll go over some materials that you'll need later on in the slides. Just a reminder, have yourself on mute while I'm doing the lesson. And then as I ask you to, you'll unmute yourself. Remember to have your videos turned on. I want to see your wonderful faces and to track the speaker and be courteous. Also a reminder to participate in class today. So be focused, pay attention, and be an active participant. And then we'll have some opportunities to be in the chat room. So when you were in the chat room, I want you to be respectful. I want you to ask questions. I want you to share your ideas. So just the normal things that we would do in the classroom. All right. So today we're going to be working on standard 5th grade standard numbers in base 10. Standard 3, we're going to read, write, and compare decimals to the thousands. So that means we're going to read and write decimals to the thousands using base 10 numerals, number names, and expanded form. And you see an example there. Here's some of the vocabulary that we're going to be using: decimals, fractions, number lines, expanded notation, standard notation, decimal grids, tenths, hundredths, and thousands. We're going to be using that a lot today. So get ready to say tenths, hundredths, and thousands. All right. Some sentence frames that we can use today as we're in our chat rooms is, I'm not sure I agree with this because I think, or I agree with so-and-so because of whatever it is, okay? All right, so here's today's agenda. This is what we're gonna do today. Of course, I already said we're gonna read and write decimals. We're gonna do a math talk first, and then we're gonna talk about some math behaviors. I will model the lesson for us, and then we'll do some problems together, and then you're going to do some independently. And then I'm going to do a little activity with you called how to write a check. When we're using decimals, one of the real applications of having writing decimals is in writing a check. So we're going to go over that today. Hopefully that'll give you some life lessons that although you may have a check, you may not have the money in there. So just we'll talk about all those things today. Some of the resources that you have, we have the McGraw-Hill virtual manipulatives. We may or may not use those today. I want you to have paper and pencil ready just so you can do your problems when we're working independently. Here is the link to the place value worksheet. So if you want to download that, you may. And then at the end, when we're done with our worksheet, we have a Google form here that you can submit your answers to. So that way I have information on how you're doing and how I can help you tomorrow. And then just to let you know, tomorrow we're going to continue with reading and writing decimals, but we're also going to compare them to the thousands. All right. All right, so let's get started with a math talk. All right. So here's our first question. All right, so what I want you to do is use the chat box, and I want you to tell me what you think 670 divided by 10 is. So everybody in the chat room, I want you to give me your answer to 670 divided by 10. And as I see it fill up, I will, thank you. I see some answers coming in already. Good, okay. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time for some of our friends who still need a chance to think. Looks good, all right, okay. Just give it a few more minutes here. Okay. All right, now I'd like for someone to share their thinking with me. So if you can go ahead and go into participant or in the reactions and raise your hand. or you can give me a thumbs up. I will call on some people to help me annotate or to help me give their thinking. So let me look through. When you're ready, go ahead and give me a thumbs up or raise your hand. All right. Okay, I have one person here. So Mr. Kniff, Mike, how are you? Okay, so what I want you to do is go down to the annotate here, and you should be able to open that up, and you should be able to draw on my screen. Okay.
I lost you. I had my volume on low.
Oh, okay. So what I want you to do is go ahead and go down to the bottom here where it says annotate. Go ahead and click on that, and then you should have access and be able to explain how 670, and you can use text as well, 670 is divided by 10. Let me just clear my drawings real quick. All right, go ahead. Or do you want to explain it and then I draw it out? How do you want to do that?
Well, I can explain it definitely.
Okay.
More than I can type it quickly.
Okay.
I noticed right away that I see 2 zeros. So I canceled out the 2 zeros, and I know 67 divided by 1 is 67.
Okay, so what you did was you saw that 670 divided by 10. You notice that there was zeros here.
Yep.
And so you eliminated those zeros. And
Yep.
so you had 60. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I divided 67 by 1 and got 67.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Can I have Jennifer? Would you like to go ahead and use the annotate button, and you can either explain it to me and I'll annotate, or you can do it on the screen yourself.
I'll explain it and you can annotate.
Okay. Sounds great.
I know in powers of 10, if I'm dividing, I'm moving the decimal to the left.
Okay.
So if I'm dividing by 10, it's one place value to the left. So that gives me 67.
Okay. So where would I put my decimal if I'm in 670? Where would that go?
Between the 7 and the 0.
Okay. So between the 7 and the 0. Can you see my
Yes.
decimal there? Okay.
Because
So
it's visibly behind your 0 on 670.
okay, so it would start over here behind the 0, and then it would move this way, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. Let me just clear my drawings here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next problem. All right. Let's take a look at this problem here. Remember in class that we always did this while we're thinking, but go ahead and in the chat box, go ahead and give me what you think the answer is to 67 divided by 10. Go ahead and put what you think the answer is to 67 divided by 10. Thank you. All right, getting some answers in here. Awesome. Looks like we're all on the same page here. Okay. All right, looks like we got our friends in. Okay, so someone raise their hand who would like to share their thinking with us. Who would like to share their thinking with us? Go ahead and raise your hand in the chat and the participant page, and I will call on someone to share their thinking. Oh, someone's annotating.
I can share.
Okay. All right, go ahead and share with us.
Okay, in a whole number, the decimal is at the very end.
Okay.
So dividing by 10, it moves one space to the left, and it is 6.7.
Okay, so we have, oops, let me get my annotation on here. There we go. Okay. So you said 67, the decimal point goes right behind.
To start with, the decimal is, in a whole number, decimal is after the ones, that's where the decimal starts.
Okay.
So moving it, because we are dividing by 10, we move the decimal to the left. So it is 6.7.
Okay, so our answer is 6.7. All right, does anyone have another way of doing this problem? Let me see here if I can see any hands up. Okay. Any other thoughts on how to do this? Okay, Tina. Thank you, Tina. How did you come up with the answer?
Okay, 67 is 60 and 7. So there are 6 10s in 60. So that's 6. And 7 out of 10 is 0.7. So 6.7.
Okay, so 7 out of 10. Can I?
That is a fraction. It could be expressed as a fraction.
Okay, okay, thank you. So we can say that it's 7 out of 10, right? Or 7/10, right?
Right.
So 6 and 7/10. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. Okay, all right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on here. And let me just clear up my drawings here and we'll continue. Okay. All right, so today some of the math behaviors that we're going to look at are in Mathematical Practice 7, look for and make use of structure. So that means things like we're going to apply our prior knowledge to solve new problems. And then we're going to look for relationships, patterns, and structures, just like we did when we're dividing those last couple of questions or those last couple of problems there. We saw patterns and we were able to use that to help us solve problems. We're going to notice repeated calculations. We're going to take complicated things and make them into, or singular things and break them apart to figure them out, or take little pieces and put them together. So I want you to think about that as we're going through our lesson today, about how we're looking for patterns, relationships, repeated calculations, and then taking all that and being able to build it up or build it down or tear it apart as we go through our lesson. All right. So our learning intentions for today are, remember that we're learning how to write decimals to the hundreds in the context of money, okay? So that's our overall big picture here. But we're gonna know we're successful today when we're able to write decimals on a recording sheet in standard form, expanded form, and word form. All right, so I'm gonna move on, but I'm going to jump out of the presentation mode and I'm going to go into, well, let me jump back into present mode. Here, we're going to take a look at our anchor chart. So this is our anchor chart for today. What I want you to notice is that there are the types of forms that we're going to do. So we have standard form, fraction form, and expanded notation form. So here we have the ones. So here's 1, and then here it is as in tenths. So it's tenths, 1/10, 100th, 1,000th. In fraction form, it looks like this. Actually, it should be 1 over 1 or 1 divided by 1. We need to fix that there. And then tenths looks like this, 1/10. And then this is 100th, and this is 1,000th. Then in expanded form, it looks like 1 times 1 for 1. Remember, because 1 times 1 is 1. It's the identity rule. And then we have 1 times 1/10, which is 1 over 10 or 1/10. 1 times 1 over 100, which is 100th. And 1 times 1 over 1,000, which is 1,000. So you can use this chart to help you write the expanded form today as we're going through our lesson. All right, so let me get out of this because we have some manipulatives we want to use, some virtual manipulatives that we want to use in order to write this out. So let's go through the I do here. So I'm looking at this. Here's my number right here. It's 8,300. So how am I going to do that? So I got to think, do I have any ones? No, I don't have any ones. And I'm going to look at this next number, 8. It's in the tenths place. So there's 8 there. So I'm going to drag over 8 coins. So 8 dimes is like 8 tenths. I'm going to drag over 8 of these. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's 8 tenths. Now I need the 300. So hundreds are like pennies, so I'm going to drag over the pennies. So there's 1, 2, 3. All right, so now I have 8 tenths. I'm sorry, 83 hundredths. Now let's write it as the word form. So when I write it as the word form, I'm going to use my annotation link here, and the word form is going to be 83 hundredths. Okay. All right. So we'll leave that in that box there. Standard form is when we use to write it. So I'm going to write 83 hundredths. So, and let me move this right here. So we have 83 hundredths, and hopefully you can see my decimal there. So that's standard form. Fraction form looks like this. 83 over, oh, let me do that again, sorry. 83 over 100. And then in expanded form, I'm actually gonna type this one out because it takes a while here. So let me type this out. So 83 hundredths is gonna look like this. We're gonna use a parentheses. We're gonna say 8 times, and then we're gonna say it's 8 tenths. So it's 1 over 10. So 8 times 1/10, right? Remember from our anchor chart. Plus, we're gonna do another parentheses so that we group it together. We're gonna say 3 times 100. And so there it's written in expanded form, okay? All right, because we're short on time, I'm gonna go a little bit through this. So normally we'd ask questions, maybe talk about this a little bit, but so let's move on, kiddos. All right, so let's go to our next one here. So we're gonna clear our drawings here and move to the next one here. Okay, so now I have 1/40th. So real quickly, I'm gonna do 1 and then move over my manipulatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1/40th. And word form, that's gonna look like this. Let me type it out for you. 1. The decimal, we use the word and. 1 and 4 or 40 hundredths. Okay. I could also leave the 0 off and say 1 and 4/10. But when we use money, we say 40. So we're going to say 40 hundredths. Standard form is just going to be 1.40. Oops. 1.40. All right. And then fraction form, I'm just going to type this out real quick here. It's going to look like 1, and then the decimal place here, and then we're going to have 4 divided by 10, or 10. Now I'm going to write like this because if I write 4 over 100, then it becomes a different number. That's 4 hundredths. So I'm going to leave it as 4 tenths, or I can write it as 40 over 100. So there's a couple ways we can write this way, okay? And then expanded form, I'll do that real quick. So 1 times 1, oops, plus, now we'll do the decimal part of it. So we're gonna go 4 times 1, or we can say 1/10, or we can say 40 times 100, 1/100. Okay, remember that there was a couple ways I could do that. Okay, all right, let's move on to a we do here. All right, so we're gonna do a we do right here. Okay, and let me clear my drawings. Okay, all right, so we do. So what we're gonna do is in the participants spot, we're gonna have you raise your hand, and I want you to come, and we'll have someone interact with the board here, and you're gonna tell me, how do I write 90 hundredths? All right, so where would I put that? So let's see. Okay, Paula, can I have you help me or tell me what am I going to put here in the place value chart here? Do I have anything in the ones?
No.
Okay. How about the tenths?
Put 9 dimes.
9 dimes. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do 9 dimes, and we're doing 9 dimes because we have 90 or
90, sorry.
And the right, yeah, right, or 90, right? Okay, so there we go. Do we have anything in the hundreds there?
No.
No, okay. Help me write it in word form. How would I write it in word form? What would I, how would I write that?
So word forms. I'll just write 9/10. Oh wait, you wanted him?
Yeah, we can do 9/10, exactly 9/10, or we could do 90 hundredths, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then standard form. How does that look?
So then you could either write for the standard form, you could write 90/100.
Okay, so remember in the standard form, it's just like the regular number we have up here?
Oh, 0.9.
Yeah, 0.9. Okay, perfect. And then
I'm throwing the fraction. I'm sorry.
yeah. And how will we write the fraction form here?
Just write 90 over 100.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And then how would I write that in expanded form here?
So then you can write 9 times.
Oops. 9 times.
Okay, you got to put 1/10 because we
1/10. Exactly right. Exactly, because that is we got to remember that the 9 is in the tenths place, so we have to multiply it by the 10th. Okay. All right. Thank you, Paula. I really appreciate your help. All right, we're gonna continue on. Thank you, Paula. Okay. All right, we have another. We're gonna actually go to the you do. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and according to your breakout room, you will do one of the Jamboards with that. And what you're gonna do is you're going to use representation. So you can either draw circles on the place value or sticks or whatever, but then I want you to write the word form, the standard form, the fraction form, and the expanded form. Okay? All right, any questions? All right, I'm gonna put you into some breakout rooms, and then we are going to do this for the next couple minutes here. So we're gonna do this for about 3 minutes. And what I want you to do is go ahead and fill out that form on the Jamboard. Okay, all right, I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes.
You guys can also manipulate the breakout rooms if you don't want the same kids in the same breakout room over and over again. You guys can regenerate it, just so you guys know. That way you don't feel like, oh, they're always gonna have to be together. You can always go back and degenerate the breakout rooms. But for this one, let me see, where you guys have access to the Jamboard that we just did, and we are breakout room number 8, correct?
Yes.
So let me go ahead and go to slide number 8. 7 and 8. Yeah, there you go. The cool thing about, some people were asking, like, how do kids write on this and how will they do it? The good thing on the Jamboard is that they can use the pen to write. And so here I can go ahead and do the drawing on the place value chart. So if somebody wants to write it on the word form, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do mine in color. So we have 4, 10. So I'm just gonna draw the little dimes. 3, 4, and I highly recommend putting the D for dimes. So we know they're not pennies, but they're actually our dimes.
Claudia, did he share the Jamboard?
Yeah, it's in the chat. I just share it with you guys. And we're on slide 8. That's our slide. Oh, I see you guys are practicing all that. That's cool. Did you see it on the chat?
I can, but it says there's a lot of people, so we have to wait until.
I know. But hey, at least we know with our kiddos we won't have that problem. So, okay, but you can help me, Monica. Oh, somebody's already. Oh,
That's okay. Go for it. Go for it.
You guys put a little sticky note. Who was that? Nicole.
No, I didn't do that. I was writing it. She snuck in when they're being a pro.
Oh my goodness, that looks really good. And that's the thing, is kids cannot use the pen. You can tell them to use the sticky note. I mean, we're asking about the mouse and kids not having a touch screen. It's okay. We'll find a way. We'll find a way to interact with them. If worst comes to worst, paper and pencil help. It was always fun sharing with you guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit. They're closing us out already.
Awesome. Okay. So we're going to continue on with our lesson. Normally I'd ask you some questions and we would go over some things, but because of time, we're going to keep moving. Okay. All right. So like I said earlier, we are going to learn about doing writing checks, because check writing is important in life to pay the bills. All right. So in the interest of time, I would show students this check writing video just to keep their attention. And then I would ask them, what do you notice and what do you wonder? And then we would go into a model of how to write a check, right? And then we would also have a Jamboard. At this point, I would tell the kids, all right, I'm going to work on writing a check with you in small groups. So this is where I'm going to have breakout sessions where the kids are going to go into small groups. But before I do that, I'm going to explain what the independent activity is. So just pretend I just modeled how to write a check. All right, so we just looked at, so that's how you write a check. Let's move on to the independent activities that we have for today. All right, so we're going to be doing this worksheet that's going to help us. So here's a little, to the left, you're going to see a little anchor chart icon. It will take you back to the anchor chart to remind you of how to write in expanded form. So remember, this is standard form, and these samples around here are in expanded form. So this is just a little, another little anchor chart for you. All right, so we're going to break out into small groups, and I'm going to work with different groups on how to write a check. Okay, so this will be our time apart, but you'll be working on this assignment. Just going over some of the instructions here. The first couple questions, you have to name the place of the highlighted digits. So look at what's highlighted and tell me what place it's in. And then I want you to write the value of the digit. So for this first one, the number is 5 in the hundredths place, right? And so the value of it is 5 hundredths. Okay, so you're going to write that out. And then on numbers 4 and 5, you're going to write each number in standard form. So I would explain this to the students. Okay, on this screen, when you get down to the number 11, you'll see that you have a little button down here that submits answers. Don't forget that it's in the agenda slide as well, but here's where I want you to put all your answers in. So you're going to click on this. It'll take you to a Google form where you're going to put your answers in so that I can look at it and help you in tomorrow's small groups. Okay, so I'm going to put you in small groups right now for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back. And so I want you to work on this independently, and those rooms that I visit, we're going to work on check writing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to, we're going to do that for a couple minutes, and I'm going to visit some of your rooms to help you out with check writing. All right, I'll see you in a minute.
I got confused with the directions.
Yeah, no, he went pretty quickly because it's time purposes. We gotta, we only have 2 hours. You have 60 minutes with the math, and this is something he's modeling that you would do with the kids, like, for the kids that didn't get it, you will go in there and support. The check writing activity, it's linked. So, again, it takes you to another Jamboard if you want the kids to do it and complete it. But that's what it was. It was that he was running very quickly. And he also wanted to model the independent work. So you do have, you can give them independent work in many different forms. But as kids are completing this, they would use paper and pencil, obviously, right? Independently. And then let me go ahead and just show you guys the form that he's talking about that we would complete as a group or even independently, and I will put it in the chat, the link. So, so if you click on it, it allows permission to enter your answers, put your name, and then you give your answers to all the different activities on the independent work. So I know he went pretty fast because unfortunately we're time limited on all this. So
you know, if you have to have the full Zoom access to be able to do all this stuff? Okay, are we going to be able to get access to that without having to pay for it ourselves?
yes, we actually, you already do. So,
oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys got the email from Doc Irwin or something that they want you. Okay, so we will. So you do have full access to this. So we're not gonna, that's one thing they don't want us to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is great, but I don't think I can do any of this.
No, we're good. They're asking us to do Zoom and not Google Meets because Google Meet is not as friendly as Zoom, especially with the breakouts and the whiteboard and the annotation and being able to navigate back and forth.
Right.
You know.
Claudia, I have a question. Are we going to be having a chance to print out a couple of materials? I would love for my students to have, for example, on the assignments, like either their book while they're writing and accessing maybe like a digital copy of manipulatives moving around, like the dollar or something like that. Are we going to have a chance to put together a packet of resources for them to actually write on?
You know what? I don't have the answer to that really. What I can say is going to be up to your school site and your principal. So that will be something that you guys will discuss, especially if you guys decide to do that, how it would happen, when, like making an appointment with the kids, and when can you come and pick this up because you won't need it for the week. So it's going to be more school site, but that's a good question to ask on that parking lot. Please do ask. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We should be ending our breakout rooms and coming back. I wanted to model that for you so that you could see that this is a great way to do the asynchronous activities so that you can give the kids an assignment and they can be working on that independently while you hop from room to room. I was telling one group that it's down when you're a host, when you host a meeting, down in your toolbar here, you'll have an option either under more or it'll be on the display. It'll say breakout rooms, and you can determine, you can have them go to pre-selected rooms, or you can just have them randomly put into rooms. You can put a timer on. You can make announcements to the rooms. I think you may have seen that. I made announcements to all the rooms all at once. So this is a great way to do small groups. So you would, this is for your differentiation. So you'll know which, you'll be able to create specific kids in different rooms so that you can go and help them out there, and you can see all their names where they're at. And I know they're going to give you more information on this, so I'm not going to take up too much more time because we're running out of time here. So just to wrap it up, we would go over the student behaviors, and then we would close up with an activity probably on Padlet. So I'm gonna forego that activity, and we're going to jump right back into our presentation. And so we would have done the well, you know, Teresa, what do you think? Should we have them do the what part of the lesson, or what part of the lesson would you use in your classroom? Ideas?
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe we could do the breakout room, but why don't we just try putting it in the chat? I'm sure as BJ was sharing this lesson, the delivery, the components, the behind the scenes, like he probably had a lot of thoughts. What tools is he using? What tools can you use? What resources? So what are some of your takeaways that you have from seeing this model lesson?
So one of the questions is Zoom through BCSD available to me now? I don't know for sure. Chris, Danes, are you on?
Or Chris?
Yes, you should be getting an invitation either this week or next to upgrade your Zoom license to Pro. You have the ability to practice some of the things without the Pro license. So the best way to practice Zoom is to get a friend, have them help you out and join you, because the person who doesn't have the license doesn't need to have a Zoom account. They can just join your Zoom session.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Now, if you have another thought, question, why don't we go to the bottom, on the bottom of my screen, the chat. Go ahead and type something in. What are your thoughts, questions at this point that you may have? Anybody? Using the district's lesson as a guide as I get familiar with the online component. That's a great takeaway, Michael. And that's a question that we had in one of the breakout rooms is what is provided, what was developed, is it like this? You're going to see a lot, all of these components, but they're not necessarily going to be in this presentation. So the model lesson was kind of just that. After our PLC collaboration, we looked at the lesson design, we looked at the math talk, we looked at, will that work for our students? Which one do we want to take? The intro, the actual meat of the lesson, those components, you can look at as a PLC, take in consideration your students, see what you would like to use, how to incorporate it and make it your own. So all of these components are in that lesson, and we just decided as a team to incorporate it as one file rather than having multiple files at the top of our screen and having to go back and forth. So those are some considerations to take as you work together with your teams. Yes, and there are a lot of tools, but don't overwhelm yourself. I'm seeing that. We have been practicing and we're still trying to get comfortable. I would say pick a tool, work on it, practice it, utilize it, and then go from there. Don't overwhelm yourself because the toolbox is huge for Zoom. There's a lot of things that you could do. With it, pick something that is important that you saw and practice it. And at the end, you have our email addresses. You could contact us. We can help you through that if that's something that would be beneficial to you.
Right, and that was one of the considerations when we were doing the model lesson, that we didn't want to throw a whole bunch of tech tools at you that we didn't quite understand and that you might not understand. So we're trying to keep it basic, but give you some idea that there's just some ways of being able to meet the students' needs online with the various tools. I did select the worksheets from the McGraw-Hill, and I screenshotted them and I put them into the lesson. I even downloaded the worksheet to put in there. So you can use the worksheets from the district. You create your own. There's just so much resources out there that you can use to have the kids work independently on. So your PLCs will be your best resources to find which pieces of independent activity you guys want to do.
Yeah, and there was a question in regards to our students going to get books. You know what, that may be something to put on the parking lot because that's something that is out of our area. So if you ask that question, that would be a great question to ask. I know that there is a plan being developed for all these specifics as we're getting closer to the beginning of school. Another question was the Jamboard, is it an extension? Yes. And you would just use your Google to create that account.
It's not an extension, it is an app. You create it just like a Google Slide or a Google Doc. You can create it within Google Classroom when you click on the Create button, or you can create it from your Google Drive.
Thank you, Chris. And as you could tell, I still need clarification on my vocabulary, tech vocabulary, so I apologize.
And Chris is a great resource for tech. I see there's a question about contacting tech support. Chris is a great resource. Again, like Teresa said earlier, you can reach out to any of us as well. We can try to help you the best we can. So there are resources for tech support.
Okay. And BJ, can you give me control? And then that kind of leads into where we were going to go next, really quickly.
I gave you.
Oh, there we go. I apologize. We're going to go ahead and advance the slides a couple more. And speaking of tech, there is a new website.
Oops, I'm sorry, Teresa. I needed to stop sharing so you can share.
Oh, let's see here.
There you go.
Let me go to where we were. I apologize. We'll just take a moment. Okay, this is where I wanted to go. So, yeah. So we wanted to introduce you to the EdTech Center, which is an exciting new website that our tech team has been working with and incorporating all of these lessons. And so as you could tell, there is the link there. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the link. And when you take the tech class during these next 2 weeks, they're gonna go more in depth. But this is gonna be like a one-stop shop for all of your math, ELA, SEL components. It's also, as I saw, resources for parents and students. And so you can see that there is a lot to look at. And it's very well organized. So we have our grade level lesson. So we're gonna go in there and it's gonna be divided very nicely by grade level. And within that, it's going to subdivide into the different components. So we have right across the board, the drive, the SEL, the ELA, the math, the dual immersion. So this is definitely somewhere where you want to start looking at. There are wonderful resources. I saw some videos that are going to be coming up and probably some that are already there to assist you, to support you as we're beginning to plan with our teams, and not only for our teams, but for our own classroom. So again, you'll get more information and opportunity to explore in that tech class, and you have the link now. The next thing is just the reminder of the digital parking lot. If there is something that you thought of a question after our session, go to this parking lot, put it in there. We're gonna either answer it directly or pass it on. So feel free to do that. And revisiting our learning intention, we hope that you feel more successful at the end of this as navigating, saw an example of how we can deliver that rich mathematical learning to our students, and kind of get the ball rolling in as far as your thoughts go with that. And that kind of leads us to the eval and the sign out. So Claudia, could you add the eval in the chat box? So we would ask you to go ahead and take a look at or complete the evaluation. Your feedback is so important to us. We want to know what you could take away, how you think we can improve for our sessions on, how more we can support you. And also the sign out link will be there. And then with the remaining slides, especially 26, if you want to ask us personally any questions, our email is attached to our emojis. But we thank you again for your time, and we hope that you are able to utilize a lot of these tools and engagement pieces within your classroom as we start our new year.
Do not leave without completing the eval or the evaluation. So I just shared the eval. Thank you Mariah, you linked it in there. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a couple minutes to do eval, and then I'll share the sign out in a few minutes.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your patience with us as we're doing this. Remember, we're just giving you the floor, giving you some ideas to pull from so that you're not starting from scratch. A lot of you already have lessons ready to go, or you know, ways that you did it in the classroom. So we're hoping to give you some idea like how you can take what you have already done and drag it into the virtual world. So hopefully we got our job done today. Again, you know, your feedback helps us to improve. You know, we were nervous doing this because we want to give you guys the best that we can give you because we know how hard you work with the kids, and it's really you that makes the difference in the classroom. So please, if we can help you out in any way, let us know, because that's what we're here for.
I also share the sign out link in there for you guys. Somebody linked it before. Chris, can you link that for me? I think I took out the link on that one. Sorry.
Thank you, Chris.
You're awesome. Thank you. Chris, can you come to all my other sessions?
I was just thinking the same thing, Claudia.
Yeah. We want him with ours.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Yes, there is a sign out
Link, yeah.
link.
Is the DQS that was just shared right now, and that's the one you guys need.
So once you have done the sign out link, you are free to go to your next breakout session. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate you being here. Hope you had a good time and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
thank you, everyone. Yes, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Good seeing everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for joining us. It's always
Absolutely.
good to see you and talk to you.
Yeah, definitely. Good
I'm
seeing
excited.
everybody.
5th grade? Ooh, that's good.
I'm going back to 5th. I went back to Harris. So I'm out of Garza and I'm going to Harris. So
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yes.
That's good.
Harris is
Have a
one of
good
my
year.
schools. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Have a great year, guys.
Yeah, you too, Mike. Good to see you.
too.
Sorry, is there only a sign out or the evaluation?
We gave out both. The eval, Teresa just shared again. Miss
Oh,
Paragire, she
okay.
just shared it right now. So there's both right there.
Okay, thank you. I might have missed it.
Yes.
Sorry
chat room
if there
girl,
was
yeah.
confusion.
No
No, I
worries.
know. It's kind of hard to go with this stuff, but yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have
Bye.
a great rest
Hey,
of the
Martha.
day.
See ya.
Okay, so I have a question.
Go ahead.
All of the tech and the manipulatives and stuff that BJ had put on.
Yes.
Are we gonna get some training on how to do those lessons? Because like in my mind, all I am comfortable with doing was putting up the webcam and teaching at a whiteboard. I like his because it seems a lot more interactive, but I am not comfortable with that.
So, Christina, what we have is our lessons that we created that you're gonna find on that website. They already have the Google Slides like that with all the manipulatives in there that you can navigate back and forth. They should be some videos on how to use certain things, but in order for you, if you like that specific lesson, you would have to make a copy yourself, and that way you can move the little manipulatives back and forth. And I do understand. So that's you know, we're gonna give you a lot of those in the lessons. You guys will find them. And then in the lesson plan, it tells you how to teach it. Like, ask the kids this question, ask the kids, you know, do this with the kids, ask them how to move this and move that number. But don't worry, we try to put as much information as we could. And I am glad you guys are asking those questions, because we had to play with it, navigate with it, and also create it at the same time. So
then we're going to share your presentation with the kids, or ours. We would share it with the kids. They would all have their own copy, and then like using GoGuardian or something, that's how we would see what they're doing. Or how many computers do we need to have up to see what's going on?
You know, one of the things is that what BJ did, he modeled as he was the teacher. So you would do that with your kiddos. You would model as if you were the teacher. And whatever you're giving the kids to do, I don't necessarily would allow them to make a copy of the presentation. What I would let them do is do the Jamboard, what we try to do today, or the Padlet. And if you feel if you don't want them to do that yet because you're still learning through that, girl, paper and pencil is the best thing. Write it on a piece of paper, here's a pencil, and then I'm gonna put you in a breakout room and share with your groups, and then you can jump into the breakout rooms and hold them accountable.
Okay, because I don't know anything about Padlet, Jamboard, breakout rooms. I did Google Meet last year with my kids. So the Zoom thing is out of my, so hopefully that's coming up in the tech.
Yeah. But, and it should be coming into the tech. And don't worry, like I've told you, we are all on this together. We are learning. I myself had to push myself to accept a teaching job this summer, now with BCSD, with the high school district, the county district, because I wanted to teach 7th and 8th graders using Zoom. So before I even created lessons, even talk to you guys, I wanted to experience it myself. And it was rough at the beginning, I'm gonna be honest, but as the days go by, it gets a lot easier and a lot easier and a lot easier. So I was teaching for a whole month, and let me tell you, I had a blast at the end. I was like, man, I wish I could have done this at the beginning.
Once we get it, we're gonna open.
You'll be fine. You won't mess it up. There's nothing in Zoom that you can delete or erase or mess up with. And if, you know what, if we'll learn through this together. That's what we're here for. And if you need any help, any support, you have my email, and I will be more than happy to join you on your Zoom. If you invite myself and you want to practice breakout rooms with me, you're more than welcome to. Just send me a link, and you'll be the host, and I can walk you through it.
Okay. And could you guys see everything that we were on? Like you could see where we were?
Oh. Your little face, we follow you.
Okay, but my face wasn't on because I had kids.
No, once you go into the Jamboard or you went into the Padlet, we could see who was there. Yeah.
Okay, but that's all you could see. Like, yeah. I'm thinking for like the kids when they're doing, like, say they're doing BJ's manipulatives and stuff. We can't see what they're doing.
They will be listening to you. They will be, if you want them to take notes, that's the perfect time. You say, I'm using manipulators, you're gonna draw it out. Remember the CRA, I use concrete, you use representation, because at this point you don't have manipulatives. Or if you want them just to listen and interact with you, like BJ was trying to do with the chat and stuff like that, yeah. You won't be able to see much of the kids, I know, but we're gonna have to trust that we're gonna hold them accountable for all that. That's why the norms are very important at the beginning.
But with the manipulatives that BJ was doing, we could use GoGuardian to see what they're doing?
If you create a Google slide for them, yes. And you want them to use that Google slide and see it, definitely, yes.
So then, Zoom and Google Meet, GoGuardian doesn't work?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. And you know, one of the ways that you can, there is one way that you can actually see them, and that would be to have 2 monitors. So I'm not sure if you'll have access to 2 monitors, but if you do have 2 monitors, then what you can do is you would extend your screen so that on one side you would have the Zoom with all of the participants, and then on the other screen you would have the lessons so that you could do both at the same time, but you'll need the dual monitors. So
Okay. Yeah, I have 2 computers. That's kind of how I was doing it
yeah.
in the spring. I have my school computer, and then I was like, do I need to get another one? I got a webcam, so I'm not using the camera here. I'm trying to figure out how I can do this to get as, you know, to be as productive as possible at home or at school, you know.
Yeah, the 2 monitors or the 2 devices is going to help you be able to see one, the kids, and then on the other, the lessons. So
yeah.
That's going to be your best way to be able to do both. But it'll take some practicing, because I know that when we were doing the model lesson, I was having them be my students while I was walking through the lesson, and it helped me to feel a little more comfortable today with giving it. So you may want to practice with your team or with some friends or your kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Well,
high fives.
High fives.
You guys did awesome. Thank you. I know I was running from one to the other. BJ, what I did is because I knew I was going to run into this situation when they put us back to back. I left the joining room open, but I'm monitoring. So if I see someone that joins that is not on the list, I kick them out. I did that. So sorry, but I left it open.
No,
So
it's
when
fine.
so when you guys join
We're
in,
supposed to do that, right?
yeah. So when you guys join in, you will see people popping in, so you don't have to control the waiting room, because unfortunately, I know they told us control the waiting room, but girl, I'm running from one meeting like to the minute to the next meeting. The only problem is that I created those links, so I know like you couldn't share your screen or you couldn't share your screen. So I was talking to my other partner, and what I would do is I would make someone the host, and then I can leave and then jump into the other one a few minutes before. And unfortunately, I'm gonna leave that person by itself at the end. So I know it's hard.
The
I
end
have
is
one more
it's not
PD.
bad.
I know I have one more PD I gotta get ready for. I did one this morning, then you guys, I have one more coming up. I'm gonna eat something because I haven't eaten anything other than coffee.
Me too.
You know, I'm modeling, but BJ, you did phenomenal. Thank you so much.
You did.
You know, one thing I'm just gonna give a little feedback on the modeling of the lesson.
Yes, please.
As you're modeling the lesson, I know we have to explain a lot of the tools and things like that. So I noticed like the independent practice was a lot, you know, to put in there, but I don't want you to take it out. I just want you to tell them that, hey, when you're teaching your kids, here's another way you can do your independent practice, and have them do paper pencil and then put it in that document right there to hold them accountable, because a lot of you guys are thinking, how do I hold my kids accountable for completing work? Some of you guys can use the Google Classroom to link the, you know, to link the independent practice that you want them to complete through the day, but I just want to show you another way. That way, because some of them were confused, like, oh, we got to do this now, or we don't have to, you know what I'm saying? But I would just mention the independent practice and then spend more time on your modeling. By the way, you did phenomenal, which I really, really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you guys for helping me out yesterday, because I was like sweating it yesterday. Like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but you guys helped me out so much with.
You have no idea what I went through with 4th grade.
Yeah. But okay, so Claudia, so you're saying when I get to the independent practice, which is slide 19, you're telling me to say to the participants, the independent practice is the way I put it here, the breaking up the slides or the worksheet is another way to do it. Or they can just tell the kids we're going to breakout rooms and they can do paper and pencil and is that what you're saying?
They can do paper pencil as a group and then submit their answers on that document that you created, which is phenomenal. But you want some independent practice. So
make it clear that they don't have to do the work on the page, on the slides. Okay.
Make it very clear. Like you don't have to use the little writing tools to do it. This is where if the kids don't have the book, teachers, paper and pencil all the way is the perfect way to do this. So yes. And
So maybe
then you hold the kids accountable by submitting their answers on that document that you created, which is perfect. And if they don't finish, guess what? You will finish after we're done because you still have that contact time. So yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put directions on that independent slide on slide 19. I'm going to put directions where it's going to say, you need to answer this questions 1 to 11. You do not write on the slides, but use paper and pencil to write your answers and then submit in the Google form.
And then submit, yeah. And you know what? That would be much more clear, and teachers would love you for that because then we're giving them another way to, you know, their biggest thing is like, how do you hold them accountable?
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
Oh no, it was really good. No, thank you. I'm telling you, I'm next with 3rd grade.
Did we record?
I recorded.
We're recording right now.
I gotta stop recording. I am so sorry.